We have 15-dimensional anatomy that we're not taught about in health class. We need to be taught about this stuff. I mean, we might learn how to brush our teeth and, you know, comb our hair and, you know, exercise and do all those good things to keep your physical matter body healthy. But it's like knowing you have a thumb and not realizing you have a hand, an arm, and a whole body with a head and a brain to go with it. This is what's happening and what we're taught about our bodies. We have a 15-dimensional identity structure, which is a 15-dimensional biological structure with 5 harmonics of matter density. We need to learn this if we're going to help indigos. Because the awakening process, the process by which a soul who comes in here and then has the ability to awaken, to remember who it was before so it can remember what it came to do, requires a knowledge of the 15-dimensional identity. You come in here, the gene code shuts down. Those levels of consciousness that were in the higher fields block out. The gene code blocks them out. If you don't have the mechanics here available, say, okay, when that happens, here's how you fix it. Here's how you open up the gene code to bring the rest of you back in. You just stay that way. Indigos are going to stay lost. And that will be a real shame if that happens. Because a lot of them are just going to backfire and they're going to be like firecrackers holding too much energy and they're just going to explode. Others are just going to fade and just drop the bodies and leave if they can't awaken. A lot of them go into drugs in the teens because it numbs them. They feel things that they can't put words on yet and they don't have a belief framework to understand themselves yet. They try to think they're normal. After a while they realize they differ. They realize they pick up on things that their peers are not picking up on. They realize that all these like competitive sports in school, indigos tend to go, you know, how archaic, you know? It's like, you know, the old days when they fed people to the lions for fun. You know, indigos tend to carry a consciousness with them, even if they can't verbalize it, of aversion to a lot of these things. Type 3s can be competitive, but most of them are just beyond that kind of stuff. And they feel different, but they don't have a framework to understand why they're different or what they're supposed to do with that fact. It gets to be very painful, not to mention the fact that they're so sensitive to electromagnetic frequency that standing by like Xerox machines or being in trains that are, you know, electrical trains or any of these things that normal people just don't have a problem with affects them. I used to ride, when I'd ride in a car, the vibration of the motor of the engine would make me physically sick. And it would take me 2 hours of recalibrating my fields and like just curling up in a ball and bringing my energy back in to neutralize what simply the vibration from car engines would do. Imagine what indigos living under high-power wires are experiencing. Their bodies go into mutation. They get cancers more easily from it. These children are sensitive to all sorts of things that average people aren't. We'll